Mike, we need to go just break down this game first of all. What were your thoughts on Barcelona's approach in this match and how they got it across the line against the Real Madrid side that really at the end of the day looked a bit toothless?
Well, first and foremost, thoughts and prayers and condolences to the Flick family. Hansi Flick. It's an emotional night, emotional atmosphere, and we really saw it in the pregame, just festivities. We really saw just an intensity, and I think a will and a desire to play for Hansi Flick in a way that has really typified what Barcelona has been about under Hansi Flick. These players love him. He loved the players. And it was always going to be about the first goal. Getting the second goal was everything. And then to put their hands on their 29th La Liga trophy is everything that Barcelona fans could have asked for on the night.
Yeah, especially to do it against Real Madrid as well. That's a little bit of a cherry on top. To break this down a bit more, we bring in our Spanish football correspondent, Phil Kitromilides. Phil, thanks for joining us here again on Scoreline. Finally, we're talking about the champions. After so many weeks and months talking about this moment of Barcelona getting it across the line, they were able to get it done. A fairly dominant performance, you would say. What were your thoughts on this match and really on Barcelona this season?
An extremely dominant performance, Stefano. I mean, it could have been many, many more goals for Barcelona tonight. We could have been talking about a generational defeat, a historic defeat, because they turned up and Real Madrid didn't. They genuinely came to this game as if they didn't really want to compete. They were like, we're here because we've kind of got to be here. We have to play this game. Let's just get it over and done with. You're going to win the title. We know that. There was nothing from Real Madrid, literally no competitive edge to them at all. And Barcelona took full advantage. I mean, they were so dominant, I felt, in parts of this game, they just took their feet off the accelerator and maybe let's just have a little bit of pity for Real Madrid, because they were just playing rondos around them. They weren't even trying. It was almost insulting, the difference between these two teams. Real Madrid couldn't bring the ball out from the back. They genuinely couldn't kick the ball out from the back. They couldn't link up play to play out from the back. The only time they brought the ball forward was long balls up towards Gonzalo and Vinicius. And because they have some decent individual players, they managed to create a couple of chances. One shot on target all game. But anyway, this isn't really about Real Madrid's inefficiency tonight. It's all about how much better Barcelona are and how good they've been all season. Let me give you a statistic. They have this high line. They give teams opportunities to score. Everybody says they need to improve defensively. Barcelona at home this season have conceded 9 goals all season, 9 goals in 18 matches. And it's true, I know they do give teams opportunities, but I thought today they were really, really very good. They were as good as they needed to be, because Real Madrid turned up in theory, but in practice it was an insipid performance from Madrid, and Barcelona scored 2. They could have scored 3, 4 or 5, but they decided to say, you know what, we've won. Let's just take it easy and enjoy it.
Phil, you just led me to where I want to go about the importance of doing it at home, the importance of doing it in front of your fans if you're Barcelona, and also the importance of doing it at the Camp Nou, a place that they didn't get to win La Liga in last season. They do this time around. Barcelona have been untouchable at home. That's 18 wins out of 18 this campaign in Spanish football. How important was it for Hansi Flick's side to get back playing in a full stadium, playing in a place that they know very well, and they've been dominant in Spanish football history?
I mean, let's remember they played in 3 stadiums this season in their home matches. They started off at Montjuic. We had a couple of games at the training ground, the Estadio Johan Cruyff, and then they've been playing for the majority of the season at the Camp Nou. The attendance has been getting bigger in terms of the capacity. They've now been playing in front of 62,000. And of course, it's important for Barcelona on and off the pitch as well. Let's not be foolish here. It brings in money, and money is very important to Barcelona. And having a full stadium like that is absolutely vital to their project. But their home form has been, as you said, impeccable. 18 wins out of 18. They've averaged 3 goals scored every single game. Like I said, they scored 2 tonight in the first 20 minutes. And we're like, right, okay, we're done here. We don't need to do any more. They could have scored more tonight. 3 goals every single game at home on average is extraordinarily impressive. And then just 9 conceded in those those 18 matches. So they've been, almost untouchable at home. And, even in the games where they haven't been that good, and I remember, there was a 1-0 win against Rayo Vallecano where they weren't that good and they rode their luck. There was a 1-0 win against Celta Vigo a couple of weeks ago where they weren't that good. They rode that luck a little bit. They've been managing to grind out victories. So it's been a combination of some really mind-blowing, spectacular, incredible football, and then some a bit more pragmatic stuff, and just getting the job done, getting them over the line, which is what they did tonight. It could have been a even bigger fiesta tonight. There was a fiesta in the stands, and I think the players were like, everybody's partying. I kind of just want to get this over and done with so I can go and party, because they knew it was done.
We're going to get to Barcelona, continue talking Barcelona here in just a minute, but we have to shift real quick to this performance from Real Madrid. Not that we were expecting a whole lot after the week that we had, that Madrid had, that these players had, obviously, with the situation with Valverde and with the other players involved. But still, you expected more, even though they're out of LaLiga race. You expected more in El Clásico, at the very least, to show their fans that the effort is still there, no?
Yes, I mean that is the bare minimum that Real Madrid fans expect from their team. They didn't see that tonight. I genuinely thought it was almost an insulting performance from Real Madrid. They were second to every ball, 50-50s, duels. I don't want to pick out individual players too much, but Camavinga, Trent defensively. It was. Even Courtois. Courtois was their best player. Courtois was their best player tonight. He made some really good saves. You could tell he wasn't fully fit. All over the pitch. It was a desperately disappointing performance from Real Madrid. And I just want to highlight something. They're playing on Thursday night at home to Real Oviedo. Right, that is going to be a generational whistling of the side. It is going to be the most toxic, furious, horrendous atmosphere at the Bernabeu. The home fans are absolutely incensed and livid with Real Madrid. 2 seasons without trophies is bad. To have just fallen apart on and off the pitch, what they've done in the last week, completely unacceptable. And like I said, watch out for Thursday night, because sparks are going to fly at the Bernabeu. There's a board meeting tomorrow at the Bernabeu. The president with the other members of the board to discuss the future, to discuss the managerial hot seat, and we'll see what comes of that. But tonight was awful. The season has just been awful, and this week in particular goes down as one of the worst weeks in recent memory for Real Madrid.
Phil, I want to talk about Real Madrid I want to emphasize current Real Madrid manager Álvaro Arbeloa. He seemed damned before he even did when he got the job. So much chaos within the club, so much chaos outside of the club. Is this the end for him, given that he got embarrassed in El Clásico against Barcelona and gifted them the league?
Yeah, definitely it was the end for him a while ago. The writing's been on the wall weeks ago. We knew that Álvaro Arbeloa wasn't going to be the manager next season. And if there would have been some miracle either in the Champions League or maybe pushing Barcelona a little bit closer, then maybe there might have been a twinkling of an idea somewhere in the Real Madrid hierarchy. Maybe we give him a little bit more time next season. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. He's not going to be the manager next season. It was a difficult, very, very difficult situation. He took over. He did his best. I think he's made some considerable mistakes, both on and off the pitch, both in terms of selection, both in terms of PR as well, and the message that he's tried to get across. And it has to go down as a failure for Álvaro Arbeloa personally to come in and to try and manage the situation. They were still in the Copa del Rey when he took over. They weren't 24 hours later, but they were still in the Copa del Rey. They weren't that far off in the league, and they were certainly alive in the Champions League. And it's all just fallen apart. It is not just down to him at all, but he does have some blame to shoulder, some responsibility in team selections. And I think the messaging from him at times has been questionable. So to answer your question, Mike, he's not going to be the manager next season, no.
So that gets the managerial rumor mill churning quite a bit, and the name that's out there, once again, is Jose Mourinho. Yeah. We'll talk first. I want to know from you, based on your reporting, how real is this situation? How real is the possibility of Jose returning? And based on your opinion, would that be a good thing or a bad thing for Real Madrid?
It's a very real possibility, and it's something that has been in the back of the mind of the president for a while. The president, Florentino Perez, has this sort of fond, almost idealized memory of Jose Mourinho and what he managed to achieve while he was Real Madrid manager, and being able to compete against a very, very, very strong Barcelona side. And it's always been in the back of the president's mind, maybe we can try and bring him back at some point, and maybe he's got some unfinished business, and maybe he is the guy to whip this dressing room into shape. I mean, I don't think so. Don't think you look at the firestorm that is Real Madrid right now and say, I know, let's add Jose Mourinho to the mix here and see how that goes down. But that is obviously the forefront of the president's thinking. And if you look around in terms of viable options for Real Madrid that would fit into this dressing room and fit into this club, there aren't actually that many. So I expect it to happen. It's not done yet. And he's still, I mean, he's got a game tomorrow night with Benfica. So I don't think anything's going to be announced tomorrow. I might be wrong, but I don't think anything will be announced tomorrow. But as soon as the season ends, watch this space, because at the moment, he's the front runner.
Barcelona, they are the champions of La Liga yet again. Hansi Flick and company get it done against Real Madrid, 2-0 at home to win yet again the La Liga title. Mike Lahoud, Stefano Fusaro here in studio. Phil Kitromilides, our Spanish football correspondent, is with us as well. But Mike, I wanted to start with you. Again, they win La Liga. How special was this season? How special is this team, maybe in comparison to last year's La Liga winning team?
Barcelona are one of the best teams in world football, and I don't care if they're not in the Champions League final or the semifinal. They still have so much quality. In my opinion, injuries at the wrong time. You think of not having Rafinha. You think of the recent injury at Lamine Yamal. Probably derailed what could have been an even more special season. But take nothing away from what we've seen from Hansi Flick's side. Yes, the high line is still in question. Yes, they need to fix some of those issues in terms of when to step, maybe bring some leaders in that back line to take that next step for Barcelona and European football. But to see the numbers they put up, to be just impeccable at home, to just see what a difference from the last El Clásico when Real Madrid beat them 2-1, and Vinny Jr., Xabi Alonso, the debacle that happened there. Remember, Real Madrid were up 5 points after that. And then Barcelona went on, did not lose a single match to get to this point. You think of the amount of players, Stefano, that have stepped up to fill the void for players like Rafinha, who missed 23 matches this season, something that did not happen last season. Marcus Rashford step up. You think of Fermin Lopez's step up. So many players are coming into their own, and this is the perfect end to almost a perfect season for Barcelona.
And a lot of the players that stepped up, Phil, were some of the new signings with this team. I think it's, you're looking at Marcus Rashford. You have to mention Joan García, who really has been spectacular. Without him, maybe they do not win this league title. How important have the new signings been, João Cancelo as well, to this team winning La Liga and being as good as they were this season?
Yeah, I totally agree. Those new signings have had a massive impact. Obviously, Marcus Rashford's in double figures for goals and assists. I mean, Joan García was a terrific signing. And it's what they call in Spanish, oportunidad de mercado, like a market opportunity. You see this guy, 25 million euros. He's young. He's extremely good. We go and get him. Even if we don't necessarily need him right now, we go and get him. And they did. And it turns out they did need him right now. You know, he missed 9 games earlier on this season. At the start of the season, he missed 9 games. They didn't keep a clean sheet in any of those games. And now he's leading the way in terms of clean sheets and the best record in La Liga. I also just want to focus something, I mean, on what Hansi Flick has done with not necessarily new signings, but signings, people that were there, and he's gotten the best out of them. You know, Eric Garcia is one of the most used players this season. And anywhere he's put him, you know, Hansi Flick has played him at right back, centre back, in midfield. Anywhere he's put him, he's been brilliant. Look at the back four today. If you tell Barca fans at the start of the season, right, we're going into the Clásico, it's match day 35, this is our back four. Eric Garcia at right back, Pau Cubarsí at centre back, Gerard Martin at centre back, and João Cancelo at left back. They'll be like, what? Eric Garcia, the cup reserve centre-back is going to be playing at right-back. Gerard Martin, like the second-string left-back, is now our first-choice centre-back. What are you talking about? Where's João Cancelo come from? He wasn't there. This is all down to Hansi Flick. It's his vision. He's put Eric there. He's put Gerard Martin there. He brought João Cancelo back and eased him into the starting 11. If we go back to last season, he brought Pedri back into the double pivot and made him not a number 10. He believed in Ferran as an out-and-out number 9 when he wasn't an out-and-out number 9 when he joined Barcelona. This team, the way that they play and the individuals as well, it's got Hansi Flick's fingerprints all over it. So we can talk about the individuals, and we should. We have to give credit for some standout seasons on an individual level. But Hansi Flick is just the mastermind behind this Barcelona side.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Hansi Flick here in a second, but I wanted to pose a question to both of you. Phil, you first, because we asked this question prior to our show, and we got several answers in the green room. Who is your player of the season for Barcelona? Phil, you first.
It is a good question. I mean, it's got to be Lamine. It has to be Lamine because I think of his contribution and the way that he's taken his game to another level, to continue to improve, to have people genuinely saying, this is someone that can be the world's best player for many, many years to come. But I think, there are big shouts for Joan García. I would even have Eric Garcia up there. He's the player with the most minutes in La Liga this season. He's literally played more than any other player. He's been absolutely vital wherever they've put him. Shout out to Pedri, obviously, because Pedri is Pedri. 99% pass completion rate tonight against Real Madrid. So there are many, many candidates. Mine is Lamine. Who's yours, Mike?
I would say Lamine, but I'm going to push back a little bit just to go outside of the box thinking, because for all the goals that Lamine Yamal has scored, yes, unplayable on his day, has been outstanding in La Liga, Phil. You just think on the defensive end, how many times have we come in here and how many times have we thought, man, Barcelona would have won that match had it not been for Joan García? There was about maybe a 3-month stint where Joan García may have won Barcelona maybe 15 to 20 points just solely on his own. Think back to the matches against Espanyol, Sevilla. Yes. You can go right through it, where Joan García is making 5 to 6 saves every single match, and Barcelona then tees it up where Lamine Yamal comes in and puts the finishing touches. And I know that we live in a world where football is defined by stats. And yes, stats are always going to rule the world. We see the Ballon d'Or being ruled by stats as of late. But if you're a Barcelona fan, if you truly watch Barcelona matches week in and week out, there's a strong argument, and I mean a very strong argument, for Joan García. Because for as much as Lamine Yamal deserves all the credit, he deserves equal amount of credit for them winning this title. Especially with all the injuries that Barcelona had, right? When they had some of their attacking players go down, Joan García was the key to winning those matches. 1-0, 2-1, a couple of those matches during the middle of the season there. Those are extremely important. Sorry, Phil, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what Mike was saying kind of maybe ties into this idea that we were seeing the numbers compared to last season as well. This has been a Barcelona team that has been slightly less spectacular in terms of goal scoring, slightly less, stunning to watch, a little bit more pragmatic, and a little bit better defensively as well. And certainly in terms of goals conceded, they've conceded fewer, they've had more clean sheets. And I think you're absolutely right to highlight Joan García and his contribution, because, last season we were sort of blown away. We didn't really know what to expect. This highlight, all these goals scored, that front three completely off the scale. This season it has been a little bit more low-key, Lamine doing Lamine things, but I think you're right to highlight Joan García, because maybe his contribution to the defensive element is what really has got them over the line in many, many games.
So we talked about Hansi Flick and just how important, we know how good the players are at Barcelona, but they maybe wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Hansi Flick's tutelage, how good he's been at managing this squad and these players. Where would you rank Hansi Flick, Mike, as far as historic Barcelona managers now, 2 La Liga titles, and really has this team playing as good as almost anyone in Europe?
It's crazy to think that only a couple seasons ago, maybe 2 seasons ago, we were concerned about Barcelona financially. We were concerned about the spirit of Barcelona maybe going out the window, and maybe Real Madrid leaving them in the dark ages. Remember when Xavi came out and said, "I'm tired. I've done everything I can possibly do with this project." I think we've watched in the last 2 seasons Hansi Flick restore a sense of passion, pride, and this newfound belief. He's a transformational manager. He's transformed this club back to being one of the elite clubs in European football, not just Spanish football, but European football. And he's taken, and we have to give Xavi credit for getting some of these La Masia players. He's taken some of these La Masia players, some of the big names now we talk about. You talk about Lamine Yamal. We talk about Fermin Lopez and even players like Gavi. He's taken them and he's put them on the world stage to be international world-class superstars. And this season, La Masia was the difference. Last season, Rafinha was the difference, and yes, Lamine. But this season, because of Hansi Flick, because of his inspiration, because of his genius at different times, Barcelona are champions. Yet again, it's back-to-back championships for Barcelona in La Liga. It's incredible, given the financial constraints. And when you look at the bigger picture, Barcelona has now won 3 out of the last 4 Spanish league titles. And if you're Laporte, you pay this man any money that's left in the coffers because he's that important to the club, and he will continue to take this project forward.
For sure. I mean, that's what you look at, and it's clearly been a match made in heaven for Hansi Flick arriving at Barcelona. And if this continues on, Phil, is this a dynasty in the making for Barcelona? And what do they need to do to take that next step to win the Champions League and not just make it, obviously, a domestic double in the league? How do they take that one step forward to truly create a dynasty here at Barcelona with this current squad?
Yeah, I mean, just following on from what you were saying about Hansi Flick and the extraordinary work that he's done, he himself says, Champions League is the big one. I want to win the Champions League with this club. So he's very, very focused. He's got a terrific relationship with the president as well. They're very, very close. They're on very, very good terms. And he's got a job for a while, I think, at Barcelona. It feels weird to say this because, you know, they've just won the league in such convincing and impressive fashion. I feel like it's actually quite a big summer coming up for Barcelona in terms of the transfer market, in terms of recruitment. They have a problem at number 9. Because there is Ferran Torres, but if they want to go, and I'm not sure if Robert Lewandowski is going to stay on and take the maybe low ball offer that Barcelona try and get him on. So I think they need a number 9, but a big number 9, certainly in terms of the numbers that he can put up and the efficiency in front of goal. They need to sign another centre-back as well, cover at centre-back, because, as you suggested, maybe in the most elite games, you can't be playing at centre-back with Gerard Martin or Eric Garcia, despite me eulogising about them. We're talking about going to the very, very highest level at the Champions League and getting over the line and winning the Champions League. I think they need a centre-back, and I think they need a centre-forward. They are going to put people up for sale. Let's put it like that. I thought it was interesting, by the way, tonight, just on a little side point, that Eric Garcia started at right back, not Jules Koundé. Jules Koundé was available. Maybe that just gives us a little idea, a little mindset that potentially Jules Koundé, if an offer comes in for him, they wouldn't be averse to cashing in on him, for example. So, yeah, it's a big summer coming up for Barcelona. They need to get those signings right. And if they do, there is the structure around them. There is the basis of an extremely good team. And of course, this being Barcelona, there's always some genius teenager coming through the youth academy ready to make it into the first team soon as well. So they've got that production line to feed off as well. So, yeah, looking good for Barca.